Sir, you are muted.
So you're not audible.
Okay. No. That's what I said. Deepankar says HCV doubts, sir. Pranav says, are we beginning with HCV doubts? Parth says, need some more time. Can you take HCV doubts in the next class? Right? How many of you want me to take HCV doubts in the next class? Rather, you need some more time. Please raise your hands.
Sir, you said you will take the 15 questions in the last half an hour, which we did like long back. So.
Okay. Fine. So last half an hour means we can take a few doubts. We can start with objective one. Objective one to किए हुए होंगे.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes,
on objective 1 and 2 will be able to deal, or objective 1 will be able to deal. Drops of water makes an ocean, will be able to finish it off. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now listen. Two things that we are yet to deal with. What was the last thing we dealt with in your class? Two block system with in the center of mass frame and the ground frame. Pura analysis we have done.
Yes, sir.
Two
Yes,
block
sir.
system with a spring in between. We have done the complete analysis, right?
Yes, sir.
What if an external force is acting?
Yes, sir. We have done that in the last class.
Okay. Now listen. This is a strange thing. This is standard derivation. We don't expect you to memorize this formula. But the derivation is a standard. V1 and V2 impulse, loss in kinetic energy. The reason being, you will understand the importance of using center of mass frame. Look at this standard derivation. First of all, there is mass m1 moving with a velocity u1, mass m2 moving with a velocity u2. After collision, this will be moving with a velocity v1 and this will be moving with a velocity v2. Right? What is your first dynamic equation? m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. This is your first dynamic equation. Ironically, this derivation is important for your HSC syllabus. Right? HSC may do we have this? Yes. The derivation is important. We don't need to memorize it, but the simplification is bad. We have already solved problems on it. We know the concept. We know how to apply it. But derivation, you will have to reproduce exactly the way it is given in your HSC book. Right? What will the second equation be? E into U1 minus U2 is equal to V2 minus V1. This is the second equation. Right? We don't know if it is a perfectly elastic collision or not. That will depend on the value of E. You are deriving a general formula, standard derivation from your HSC textbooks. Right? Now calculate V2 from here. What will and substitute here? M1 U1 plus M2 U2 is equal to M1 V1 plus M2. V2 will be bring V1 to the left. V1 plus E into U1 minus U. Agreed? So far, so good, right?
yes, sir.
This will be M1 V1 plus M2 V1 plus EM2 U1 minus EM2 U2 is equal to M1 U1 plus M2 U.
So what are we deriving here?
Velocity V1 and V2. Velocity V1 and V2. Now you eliminated V2. Now you have to calculate V1. Bring all U's to the left. M1 U1 plus M2 U2 plus E M2 U2 minus E M2 U1 is equal to M1 plus M2 into V1. Right? E M2 U1 minus M2 U2. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Now bring U1 common from these both. M1 minus EM2 into U1 plus 1 plus E into M2 U2 upon M1 plus M2 upon M1 plus M2 is equal to V1. What is the big deal here? You calculated V2 from here and substituted here, right? Am I expected to remember this value? Technically, no. How will you memorize such a thing? Instead, simplifying these two equations is million times easy. But it's a standard derivation for your HSC syllabus, right? Every year they'll ask you this question. Now, from here, please calculate V2. What did you calculate? V1. Please calculate V2. Make it fast. V2, this is what you are supposed to get. U2 into M2 minus EM1 into U2 upon M1 plus M2 plus of M1 U1 1 plus E into M1 U1 upon M1 plus M2 will be V2.
Sir, done.
Is it really worth it that we remember the formulas this way? No. But then for the next derivation, I will need it. That's the worst part of it. Right? There are 3 derivations in sequence for you people. Now, what is the next derivation and is there any shortcut for it? There is a shortcut for it using center of mass spring. But can I use it in my HSC syllabus? You cannot. Because that's not defined, that's not prescribed. You have to go by the procedure which I am dealing with for you now. Impulse due to impact. Impulse due to impact. What is the impulse due to impact? M1 is moving with a velocity u1, M2 is moving with a velocity u2. During impact, what did you tell me? There will be an impulse n delta t and impulse n delta. This you will call as an impulse j. Sometimes j is referred to as n delta t. Instead of writing two things. Impulse is change in momentum. Impulse is change in momentum. It is this impulse that you are asking me. This M1 will keep moving after the collision with a velocity V1. This will keep moving with a velocity V2. At this instant, if you people recollect, both will be moving with the same velocity. At maximum compression, both will be moving with the same velocity. Now you have a million ways of proving it. You have 2 masses with a spring in between. Maximum compression, both will be moving with the same velocity. So maximum compression, both will be moving with same velocity. What are we interested in? We are interested in impulse J. They will be equal and opposite. This is M1, this is M2. They will be equal and opposite. Right? J is equal to M2 V2 minus U. J is equal to, I am taking the impulse on M2. This is your impulse. V2 I will have to substitute from the previous derivation. V2 I will have to substitute from previous derivation. Right? M2. For which you will have to remember V2. For this derivation exclusively, you will have to remember V2. Right? This is U2 into M2 minus EM1 upon M1 plus M2 plus of, have a look, U2 into M2 minus EM1 upon M1 plus M2, right? Plus M1 U1 into 1 plus E upon M1 plus M2. Now simplification of this also is a very strange thing, but when you see the final end result, you will be amused. Right? Multiply both with M1 plus M2. Multiply and divide with M1 plus M2, or put it this way, bring M1 plus M2 outside. Sorry, I forgot minus U2. I substituted V2 and this is minus U2. Am I right? Say something. This minus U2 should come into the picture.
Yes, sir.
Now, in the first step itself, we tell the students, multiply the numerator and denominator with M1 plus M2. M2 by M1 plus M2. M2 by M1 plus M2. I divided by M1 plus M2. When I multiply with M1 plus M2, these both denominators will go. U2 into M2 minus VM1 plus M1 U1 into 1 plus E minus M1 plus M2 into U2. See if you are convinced. I multiplied the numerator and denominator with M1 plus M2. So denominator is M1 plus M2.
So basically you took 1 by M1 plus M2 common, right?
Common. From whole of that I took m1 plus m2 common. So I had to multiply this with m1 plus m2. Or you tell me that I have multiplied the numerator and denominator with m1 plus m2. Denominator ka m1 plus m2 is here. These both will get cancelled out. That will end up with this m2 by m1 plus m2. This is m2u2 e m1u2. Simple simplification. See how easy your HSC syllabus is. Minus m1u2 minus m2u. We just opened up the brackets. If you concentrate, there is no way that you can go wrong with m1 u2 m1 u1. Now, in this expression, what is common m1? Bring m1 outside. Are you able to see something that you are supposed to see?
Yes, sir. Reduce marks.
So it implies if I use center of mass, whole of the simplification can be done in 2 steps. Right? I'll explain. But that's not permitted for you in your HSC. You do the derivation, they'll give you a 0. Remember that. Right? Now I bought m1 common. What am I left with? Minus EU2 plus U1 plus EU1 minus U. This I will write as mu. From U2 and U2, have a look at this. From these two, I'll have to take U2 common. Minus U2 I took out common. So this will be 1 plus E. From these both I take out U1 common. This will be 1 plus E. So what will the next step be? Mu into 1 plus E into U1 minus U2 is the impulse J. Now, this is orthodoxly to be done. Now, for us to do this, what have you done here? Just multiplied numerator and denominator with m1 plus m2, opened up the bracket, simplified, rearranged the answers. Right? But then, to do this, I have to remember the value of V2. If I don't remember the value of V2, you'll have to derive and do it. That is what makes it very lengthy. But this is standard theory. You have to know this.
Sir, can you give 2 minutes?
Can you give 2 minutes is what you said?
Yes, sir.
Take your own time. Take 5 minutes. I am in no hurry to finish off this.
So how did you get J equal to M2 into V2 minus U2? First step.
This is J.
Yes, sir.
Final momentum minus initial momentum on M2.
Understood, sir.
J is final momentum minus initial momentum.
Done, sir.
So just a minute.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
In the regular classes, the advantage of having a live lecture anytime is advantage. I can see the student's face. At least there will be one student who is not paying attention. Now I make him stand and I ask him, mu is the coefficient of friction between the two bodies or between the body and the ground. And that guy is not listening. So he will make a guess. Mu is the coefficient of friction between the two bodies. Yeah, between the body and the ground. 50, he will think 50% probability of success. So he will say one of them. Now, ironically, mu is not coefficient of friction here. It is reduced mass.
Reduced mass.
Now, in these Zoom lectures, we don't know who is sleeping. We don't know who is listening. जो सुन रहा है उसका कल्याण हो रहा है, जो सो रहा है उसका भी कल्याण हो रहा है. Now, firstly, listen. You wanted the change in momentum. Suppose there are two observers, one observer on the ground and one observer on the center of mass. Center of mass is moving with uniform velocity. Center of mass is moving with uniform velocity, right? There are two observers. Change in momentum of this body as seen by somebody on the center of mass and as seen by somebody on the ground should be the same, because change in momentum per unit time is the force. Somebody moving with uniform velocity and somebody at rest will report the same force on this particular block. Yes or no? Say something.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now Pranjali says no. Listen. Uniform velocity and rest, Newton's laws are the same state. Neither of them will introduce a pseudo force on this, right? You are moving with uniform velocity or you are on the ground at rest. Neither of them will introduce a pseudo force. When there is no pseudo force, both of them will report only the real force. So change in momentum of this block as seen by somebody on the center of mass, as seen by somebody on the ground will be the same. Newton doesn't differentiate between these two frames. Which two frames? Center of mass, some frame moving with uniform speed and frame at rest. Both are the same according to Newton. Now here center of mass is moving with uniform velocity. There is no external force on both m1 and m2 put together. So center of mass is moving with uniform velocity. Ground frame which you have just now calculated is at rest. So these both people will report the same change in momentum of this block. Now, is that clear?
So
Yes, sir.
VCM will remain same even after impact.
Yes, sir.
VCM is constant all throughout. There is no external force on both put together. M1, M2 both put together, there is no external force. That's why you are able to conserve linear momentum.
Understood, sir.
So VCM is constant. Before collision, during collision, after collision. No external force. Ground is at rest. So these both people will not report any pseudo force. They'll report only the real force. So they'll report the same force on this particle. They'll report the same change in momentum. Firstly, is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
So you mean to say impulse or change in momentum on M2, impulse J as seen by COM frame as seen from COM frame. What is momentum in the COM frame? Mu into VR. Do you remember momentum is mu into VR? So mu into V2 minus V1, final momentum, minus mu into U2 minus U1. Right? Mu into V2 minus V1 minus initial momentum. This will be the change in momentum on M2 or even M1, because vector summation of momentum of both the particles in the center of mass frame should be 0. So whether you are taking M2 or M1, it will be the same. Change in momentum of M2 or change in momentum on M1 will be the same. Right? So now mu
how do
E
you get this?
times U1 minus U2, mu into U2 minus U1. E, how did you get this E? E is equal to V2 minus V1 upon U1 minus U2. Right? This will become mu E U1 minus U2 plus mu2 U1 minus U2. What have you done? You brought a negative sign common, or you took this negative sign inside, it became U1 minus U2. This is mu into U1 minus U2 into 1 plus E. Is this the answer that you are expecting? Look how easy the simplification becomes when you use the center of mass frame. Final momentum in the center of mass frame, final momentum in the initial momentum in the center of mass frame. Did you take for M2 or M1? Both are the same. Both are the same. Final momentum, center of mass frame, initial momentum in center of mass frame. Difference. Here, center of mass frame may change in momentum, ground frame may change in momentum. Will they be the same? They will be the same because both are inertial frames. Center of mass frame is moving with uniform speed, ground frame is at rest. Both are inertial frames. You will see the same change in momentum, and I have proved that mathematically. So you can use this center of mass frame conveniently. You put this derivation in your HSC boards, they'll give you a 0. It is for your information only.
Sir, but why 0?
Because
the acting smart.
what is prescribed for you is the ground frame only in the HSC.
Okay.
Sir, in the first equation, in the last bracket, you have written U2 minus mu1.
U1, sir. Parallax, sir.
And sir, on the second step, you have written mu2.
U2.
Silly mistake.
So how is this the impulse for M1 and M2 both?
Momentum of 1 and 2 with respect to center of mass summation should be 0. So both of them should be equal. Vector summation of momentum of all the particles in the center of mass frame is 0. So there are two particles. So momentum of this and this in the center of mass frame should be 0. If this changes by delta P, this will also change by delta P. Only then they can cancel out each other.
Understood. Understood, sir.
The relative velocity is same from all frames.
All frames means, how will it be same if it is an accelerating frame? Will not be. Inertial frames, it will be the same.
Sir, I am seeing COM frame and ground frame.
Change in velocity, no here. Arnav says, did not understand the first equation. You mean this equation? Impulse is change in momentum. Final momentum minus initial momentum. You should be aware of mu P equal to mu R. Mu into VR. VR is relative velocity. We derived this. So this is the final momentum. This is the initial momentum. Right? Final momentum of M2 in the center of mass frame. Initial momentum of M2 in the center of mass frame. M1 also would be the same, no, yeah. I have no problem. But don't take final momentum of M2 and M1. Final momentum of M2 in the center of mass frame. Initial momentum of M2 in the center of mass frame. Mu is reduced mass. V2 minus V1, U1 minus U2. We are difference and simplify.
Sir, so in first method, if you have taken this of M1, so you have got same only, no? By simplification.
Comfortably. Because you are seeing this impulse and this impulse are the same. Just opposite in direction. So if you take the change in momentum of M1, you will have to precede all the equations with a negative sign. That's all. You are multiplying whole of the equation with a negative sign.
Yes, sir.
One more small thing is left over. What is that? Loss in kinetic energy during collision. This expression final end result I would suggest you remember. This expression final end result I would suggest you remember. Loss in kinetic energy. You know, if it is a perfectly elastic collision, there will be no loss. Right? Loss is initial minus final. Half M1 U1 square, half M2 U2 square. Among the three derivations that we have two we have done and one we are doing. Your HSC people love this derivation the most. Maximum number of times they have asked this. So ध्यान से सीख लो भैया, simple simplification. Board में marks are also important. Initial minus final, half M1 V1 square, half M2 V2 square. Right? Now this is written as half M1 U1 square minus V1 square, half M2 U2 square minus. ऐसा करोगे तो ही सिंप्लीफिकेशन इजी होगा. अरे यार मैं ऐसा क्यों करूं, मुझे V1 V2 पता है ना यार, यहाँ सब्स्टिट्यूट कर लूंगा फर्स्ट डेरिवेशन में v1 v2 डिराइव किया है मैंने, सब्स्टिट्यूट कर लूंगा, पूरा दिन लगेगा सिंप्लीफिकेशन के लिए। ऐसा ही करना है। What did you do? u1 and v1 you put in one bracket, u2 and v2 you put in one bracket, m1 u1 plus v1 u1 minus v1 half m2 u2 plus v2 u2 minus v2. What have you done? A square minus b square you have written as a plus b into a minus b, half u1 plus v1, m1 into this, m1 into this. Can you tell me what is it equal to? m1 into this
Negative of change in momentum.
minus j v1 minus u1, negative of j plus of half m2 into, I'll keep u2 plus v2. This will be u2 minus v2.
Minus j.
This also turns out to be minus j. Did I take this correct? Minus or plus?
Minus.
Minus. Not an issue. u1 plus v1 into minus j will be mu into 1 plus e into u2 minus u1. Agreed? Or bring j common outside. No, yaar. Your life will become a bit simple. J, you brought it out common. u1 plus v1 plus u2 plus v2. J, we brought it out common.
So negative.
Minus j.
We have one problem here. I have a feeling this is plus j.
So how do you get that equal to j? वो थोड़ा doubt है.
u2 minus v2. Now listen. Hey, who is this? How did you get j? J is change in momentum. m1 into u1, m1 into v1. Now listen. If one is j, the other is minus j. Why? Have a look at it. See, if I take this as plus j, this will be minus j. If I take this as plus j, this will be minus j. Is that clear? Now, because it is u1 minus v1, initial minus final, you took this as minus, then this should be plus. Minus or minus. If I take this to be positive, this I will have to take negative. I'll put it this way. Have a look at this. Negative sign is playing a small mistake here. What is the impulse? This j, I will write as m2 into v2 minus u2. But this j minus j is equal to m2 into v1 minus u1. m1 v1 minus m1 u1 is minus j. Yes or no? Now suppose I reverse this. I take u2 here and v2 here. Observe this. u2 minus v2, I'll put a negative sign here. If I reverse this, u1 minus v1, I'll put a positive sign here. If one is positive, other must be negative. Did you get that point?
Yes,
All
sir.
of you. You want me to write that again? I'll write that again. Please observe. See, j is equal to m2 v2 minus m2 u2. This is minus j is equal to m1 v1 minus u1. Now see the substitution here. m1 u1 minus v1, m1 u1 minus v1 will become plus j. m2 u2 minus v2 will become minus j. See if all of you are convinced.
Yes, sir.
Sir, what if both the masses move in the same direction after collision?
If they move in the opposite direction, v1 will turn out to be negative in that expression which I have derived. Why will I worry about it? right? Now have a look at this. Half j I got out common. u1 minus u2 plus v1 minus v2. Am I right? Half j u1 minus u2 plus small e is v2 minus v1 upon u1 minus u2. Right? If I do this as v1 minus v2, then this will become u2 minus u1 or with a negative sign. Agreed? Small e into u1 minus u. Small e into u1 minus u.
So negative of small e into u1 minus u2, right?
This is v1 minus v2, negative of negative. v2 minus v1 is small e into u1 minus u. Right?
Yes, sir. So that is v1
Yes,
minus
sir.
v2. That
Or say
definitely
u2
I
minus
can
u1. na?
Right? 1 minus. Fine. Then in the previous derivation, we went wrong with the e somewhere. Or let's see, it doesn't matter. Have a look. Will you remember this? I'll have to rub the board. No, I'll do it this way. I'll have to keep this. Now j I substitute here half mu into 1 plus e into u1 minus u2 into, I am bringing u1 minus u2 common into 1 minus e. Half mu 1 minus e square into u1 minus u2 whole square. u1 minus u2 common. This is delta k half mu 1 minus e square because a plus b into a minus b whole square. A plus b into a minus b. u1 minus u2 whole square. u1 minus u2 whole square. Are you able to see this? Now in this derivation, if e is equal to 1, what is the significance of e equal to 1? Perfectly
Perfectly
elastic
elastic.
collision. Put e equal to 1, delta k will be 0. Perfectly inelastic collision. If e equal to 0, delta k will be equal to half mu u1 minus u2 whole square.
समझा completely loss हो गया ना?
So much amount of energy is lost in a perfectly inelastic collision. Standard derivation as done by your HSC. Positive, negative, कितना confusion create कर सकता है देख लो. You should be meticulous with positive and negative. One silly mistake, you will end up with the wrong answer. Now I will remove this from here because I have already used it up. J I substituted here, only then I will get the answer. So am I expected to remember J? Without remembering J, you cannot solve this simplification. The only other way, you should remember V1 and V2 from the first derivation and substitute here. बहुत लंबा पड़ेगा. उससे बेहतर convert this into a plus b into a minus b, m1 into u1 minus v1, m1 into u1 minus v1 will be j. Similarly here minus j, and plus and minus j should be done carefully. Take it down till here. I'll show you how easy the derivation becomes in the center of mass frame. Those steps में answer आ जाए.
So you said we had made some mistake in the derivation of something.
What?
So this is correct. Sir, when we were simplifying, you said that we had made some mistake somewhere earlier.
Hurt किया मैं यहाँ कहाँ लिख के? We have written here and I took both as j. One is j, the other will be minus j.
So you are talking about the previous sum derivation. About e, you had made some mistake that you are telling.
No, that was right. When I saw 1 minus e, I thought j may it should be 1 plus 1 minus e. But j may it is 1 plus e. That 1 plus e into 1 minus e is 1 minus e square. When I saw here 1 plus e, I thought j, I was seeing the expression j. And there it was 1 plus e. So I thought I committed a mistake. But that was right. This expression you are expected to remember. इस पर डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, सीईटी में भी आते हैं, जेई मेंस में भी आते हैं. व्हाट इज द लॉस इन काइनेटिक एनर्जी? सब्स्टिट्यूट कर लो, डायरेक्टली आ जाएगा. Mu is reduced mass m1 m2 upon m1 plus m. Impulse they don't ask, but this expression पर CET में भी क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, जेई मेंस में भी आते हैं, बिट्स में भी आते
Sir, advanced में आता
हैं. Advanced में they don't ask you formula based, they'll hit only on the concept. Advanced में they don't expect you to memorize formulae.
सर HSC में भी आता है.
क्या चाहते हो तुम? HSC का पेपर अगर मैं बनाऊं तो it will be different, right? But they don't give me that choice. You have no choice. HSC में तो गारंटी आएगा, एंड HSC में फॉर्मूला नहीं पूछेंगे भाई साहब, डिराइव करने के लिए बोलेगा, पूरा करना पड़ेगा. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 स्टेप्स.
सर कितने मार्क्स का आएगा?
So
Generally it comes in the subjective. There are 3 categories in HSC, 2 marks and 4 marks questions. So शायद 4 marks क्वेश्चन में पूछ ले. जनरली 4 marks पर ही पूछते.
सर लास्ट कभी आया था?
वो मुझे याद नहीं यार, देखना पड़ेगा. तुझे क्या प्रोबेबिलिटी करना है? अरे HSC के लोगों के साथ ऐसा मत किया करो, वो हर साल पूछ सकते हैं. व्हीटस्टोन ब्रिज का डेरिवेशन हर साल पूछेंगे, तो आपको बोलूं लास्ट ईयर पूछा तो इस साल नहीं पूछेंगे? ऐसा कुछ नहीं. इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है तो पूछेंगे ही पूछेंगे. It is not IIT entrance that last year we asked this, so we cannot ask the same question again. Same question every year पूछ सकते हैं. Derive and explain Wheatstone bridge condition in current electricity हर साल आता है.
sudden.
सारवार.
कौन है भाई?
Done, sir.
Now, if I solve this change in kinetic energy from COM frame, do you know the kinetic energy in the center of mass frame? You derived that formula of mu VR square. Kinetic energy in center of mass frame half mu V2 minus V1 whole square. Final kinetic energy half mu U1 minus U2 whole square. Right? Half mu E times U1 minus U2 whole square minus half mu u1 minus u2 whole square. Hey, here also it is u2 minus u1. Final minus initial for the same mass. Right? So this will be u2 minus u1. Agreed? Final kinetic energy, initial kinetic energy. Right? Half mu u1 minus u2 whole square 1 minus e square is the. Now technically here you are getting e square minus 1. You know why? I wrote 1 minus e square. You are getting e square minus 1. You know why? This is loss in kinetic energy. Loss you should do initial minus final. I did final minus initial. Loss in kinetic energy. Previous derivation with Eklo, you took loss. Initial kinetic energy minus final kinetic energy. I by chance wrote final minus initial. So I am getting e square minus 1. So that I removed and I put 1 minus e square. Isn't it the same expression? Those steps, right? 1, 2, your job is done. That is the advantage of using reduced mass. No, Tejas, it matters. E square minus 1 and 1 minus e square, that's the difference. E square minus 1, when you take, you get negative sign. Negative sign means it tells you it is loss. So when you are reporting kinetic energy, you will report 1 minus e square only because it is loss in kinetic energy, not change in kinetic energy. Change in kinetic energy will turn out to be negative. Loss in kinetic energy will turn out to be positive. When I take loss, I am taking initial minus final. So that will turn out to be a positive value. Okay, you were talking about u1 minus u2. Yeah, u1 minus u2 or u2 minus u1 will not make any difference. Square of that will give us the same. Can I rub the board?
Yes, sir.
Now, this year in JEE, they have made one small change which you people will have to keep yourself informed. थोड़ा ध्यान से सुनिए. Till now, see, for instance, yesterday's result I'll tell you. A student who got 131 marks is 7291 rank. Another student also got 131 marks. His is 7390 rank. How many students are sharing the same mark? On average, above 90 students here. We don't know if a rank above this and below this also is sharing the same rank. Probably few hundred students are sharing the same mark. Few hundred students are sharing the same mark total. Are you getting this point? You should know how competitive the examination is. But listen, till last year, if two students got the same mark, what they used to do, they used to take whichever student has got better marks in mathematics was given a better rank. So mathematics used to define the rank list. If two students got same marks in maths, then they used to come to physics, then chemistry. Right? Worst of all, if two students got, because there are a few hundred students who got the same score total. So what if they have got same marks in maths, same marks in physics, same marks in chemistry, then they see the age of the student. Ironically, whoever is the older one will get a better rank. Right? But this year they changed this. They said whoever got lesser negative score will get a better rank. Now in the mark list that they gave the students marks in physics, chemistry, maths, total positive marks and total marks score. Now there are two ways of getting 131. One student might have got 140 and he lost, say, 9 marks. This student he lost 9 marks, he got a better rank, he got positive score greater. Whoever has got lesser negative score got a better rank. If you and I are getting the same positive score, same score, and I went wrong only with 2 questions and you went wrong with 3 questions, you will get a lesser rank than me.
Sir, पुराना system अच्छा था.
Arey nahi. So now they are not letting you make a guess with the negative scores. More your negative scores, your rank is going bad. More your negative scores, your rank is going bad. Are you getting this point?
Sir, so we have
बिल्कुल
to
रिस्क नहीं
attempt
लेने का.
carefully.
Pardon? I couldn't get you. So keep yourself informed, start practicing it, try to minimize your negative scores. Lesser the negative scores, better are your ranks. Do not make guessworks with questions unless you are damn sure about your guesswork.
Sir,
Bolo.
sir, if the negative marks are the same, then they go subject wise.
Then subject wise. If the negative scores are also the same, then they see mathematics, then physics, then chemistry. Last resort, if everything matches, they'll see the age.
Sir,
But
first they
you
check
know what if both two guys are born on the same day? Same birthday if they are sharing, then probably they'll see the time.
Sir,
what if
Sir,
the
ये
time
क्या
is
फालतू
same?
के?
What if the time is same? Right.
Twins sir, twins.
twins में भी time difference होता है.
Twins में भी time difference होता है बेटा. 1
then
minute.
alpha, sir, name wise देंगे ना alphabetical order.
अरे नहीं.
अरे but sir, they check the percentiles till six digits, right?
सर एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर नहीं देखते?
नहीं एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर नहीं देखते. अब हरविंजर को देखो, एक्स्ट्रा पार्थ एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर चाहिए.
नहीं हरविंजर बोला सर.
No, right. Listen.
सर मेंस का नहीं देखते.
The idea is good, but they don't take JEE main score into consideration.
सर 12 का मार्क्स भी ले सकते हैं.
नहीं, IIT doesn't take 12 marks into consideration. Now, center of mass. Doubts please. HCV. Objective 1. No doubts in objective 1.
Sir, wait 1 minute.
Somebody typed 14, 18. 14, 18. Okay.
I saw short answer 18.
Short answer 18. 8, 10, 14, 16. 8, 10, 14, 16. Okay, first let us finish this. Short answer 18. Suppose we define a quantity linear momentum, mass into speed. Can we state the principle of conservation of momentum as linear momentum system remains constant if no external force? Nay, momentum will not work out. Short answer 18. Momentum, because one body is at rest, it explodes into two pieces. It is at rest. Initial momentum is 0. Final momentum of mu, m1 u1 and m2 u2 should be equal and opposite. Momentum conservation works out because of direction. If there is a bomb which explodes, total momentum carried in one direction will be equal to momentum carried in other direction. If you define momentum and you say mass into speed, now this and this will not cancel out. Initial momentum is 0, but then you will write m1 u1 plus m2 u2. How will it be equal to 0? So 18th question may HCV is playing with your people. He wants you to understand that momentum conservation is feasible because momentum is a vector quantity. Momentum conservation is feasible because momentum is a vector quantity.
Sir,
Huh?
can you solve 14 and 23 also for short answer?
14. You are holding a cage containing a bird. Now listen. In 14, if this is a cage like this, if the bird is flying here and the cage is open cage, how will the bird fly? It will push the air in the downward direction, only then it can fly. But when it is pushing the air will go out from the sides. When you are pushing the air, you are increasing the pressure underneath. Air will go out. So now that force will not apply on the cage. So when the bird is flying here, the weight will be only of the cage. Only of cage. If it is open. If it is closed cage. If it is closed cage and the bird is flying here. Why? For the bird to fly, it should be pushing the air in the downward direction, and that is an airtight
एग्जाम
cage.
शुरू होएगा सर
Pardon?
हमारा एग्जाम शुरू होएगा सर
What is this child asking? I didn't get you. No, when this bird is flying in the...
Okay.
Sir, I think the mic is on.
Now, this bird is flying and the cage is closed, airtight. So now when this bird is pressing the air in the downward direction, when the bird is pressing the air in the downward direction, air will create pressure on the cage. Here the weight will be of, weight is of the cage and bird. Bird weight, how will it act here when it is flying? It is pressing the air in the downward direction for it to float. So bird is getting equal and opposite reaction. So the reaction will be applicable on the cage. So here the weight will be of cage and bird. Here the weight is only of the cage. 14th question of short answer.
So which one will require less effort?
Pardon?
So which one will require less effort?
Which one will require?
Less effort.
Bird again.
Here you are having greater weight, here you are having lesser weight. When you are holding, right? Do you have to make less effort if the bird flies? Here it is a lesser weight. There it is a greater weight. There you are holding on to the cage where the bird's weight also adds up. Here you are holding on to the cage where only the cage weight comes into picture.
Got it, sir.
What did the student say? 14 and what else did he say?
23, sir.
20. Did I hear you
23,
right?
sir.
23.
23.
When a nucleus at rest emits a beta particle, it is found that the velocity of the recoil nucleus and the beta particle are not along the same straight line. How can this be possible in view of the principle of conservation of momentum? It is not possible. 23. Hence, they concluded that another particle as well is emitted. That particle is called neutrino. That particle is called a neutrino. Did they actually observe a neutrino? No. But principle of conservation of linear momentum was failing in a beta decay. Then they realized something else also should be coming out. They named it neutrino. Then there came beta capture. In beta decay, there was a particle called neutrino also coming out. Right? This is the nucleus. Beta decay. Nucleus was not recoiling this way, it was recoiling this way. Then they said a neutrino is also coming out. Neutrino ka symbol is this, right? A beta particle is emitted from the nucleus. Neutrino is also emitted, so that conservation of momentum happens along the x-axis and y-axis. Then they said, what happens when a beta particle is captured? It becomes an anti-neutrino. What happens when a beta particle is captured? It becomes anti-neutrino.
Excuse me, sir. Captured in the sense? Stopped.
There is something called beta capture, which you will read in nuclear physics. Right? Here beta particle decays. There beta particle is absorbed by the nucleus. An electron is absorbed by the nucleus. Eight.
Sir, question 1.
1. Okay. 1 second. 8. Internal forces can change kinetic energy but not the linear momentum of the system. Linear momentum as well as kinetic energy. Neither the kinetic energy nor internal forces can change the kinetic energy but not the linear momentum. Internal forces can do work. If they do work, implies they can change the kinetic energy, not momentum. Momentum cannot change. Internal forces can do work. When you are walking, internal forces are doing work. You are burning calories. A bomb explodes. Internal forces are doing work. They're doing that, contributing to change in kinetic energy.
Why not momentum?
Extra momentum is F external is dP by dt. I need an external force to change the momentum of the system.
Understood, sir. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Newton's second law. If not, Newton will be angry. Oh. Somebody said first, right? Did somebody say first question?
Yes, sir, objective first.
Tejas, yeah, because of the neutrino particle, now momentum is conserved. If we didn't consider neutrino, momentum was not getting conserved. So to conserve momentum, they predicted the existence of neutrino, which turned out to be correct. Now, first question में acceleration is sigma of F by m will be wrong in non-inertial frame. Non-inertial frame, I'll have to take plus of pseudo force. In a non-inertial frame, accelerated frame, acceleration is F divided by capital M will not work. F divided by capital M will not work. You will have to add a pseudo force to it, only then you will get it correct. Now, center of mass calculation has got nothing to do with force. It's playing a practical joke with you people. XCM is sigma of MI RA upon sigma of MI. Has got nothing to do with forces. They're two different things. So that will be universally applicable.
So can you repeat what you just said?
XCM is equal to sigma of MIXI upon sigma of MI. This has got nothing to do with forces, pseudo forces, so on and so forth. What force is acting on it doesn't matter for me to calculate the center of mass of a particle.
Thank you, sir.
And uniform sphere is placed on a smooth horizontal surface and a horizontal force F is applied on it at a distance of h. Acceleration will be the acceleration of center of mass. Acceleration of where you apply the force, I don't care. Sigma of F is mass into acceleration, acceleration of center of mass of the body. ACM, you apply force here, you apply force here, you apply force here. ACM will be F divided by M. Right here, the body will be turning also, na yaar. That will come in rotational motion and that doesn't affect this. That we will teach you then. Vector summation of all the forces acting on a system of particles is mass into acceleration. Acceleration is acceleration of center of mass of the system. Vector summation, if you people have seen ECM sigma of MI, AI upon sigma of MI. How did you get this? Differentiating RCM twice. Sigma of MI, RI upon sigma of MI. Differentiate this twice, I'll get this. Differentiate this twice, I'll get this. Now when I bring this here, sigma of MI is capital M into ACM. So vector summation of all the forces acting on the system of particles will be equal to mass into acceleration of center of mass. So you may apply the force here, anyway. That net total force will be equal to mass into acceleration of center of mass. Don't you think the body rotates? Yes, will rotate in the chapter rotational dynamics. That will add it to this, but this will not change. He tries to play with the language. 14th one. Every year students ask this question. It's playing with the language. A heavy ring of mass M is clamped on the periphery of a circular disc. A small particle having mass M is clamped at the center of the disc. The system is rotated in such a way that the center moves in a circle of radius r. A heavy ring of mass M is clamped on the periphery of a circular disc. Heavy ring of mass M is clamped on the periphery of a light circular disc. A small particle having equal mass is clamped at the center of the disc. Small particle is clamped at the center of the disc. System is rotated in such a way that the center goes in a circle of radius r with a uniform speed v. Center goes in a circle of radius r. Suppose I keep it here. Now center is going about in a circle of radius r. Now heavy ring is clamped on this, means this will be m plus n. Heavy ring is clamped. Whole of the mass of the ring will appear to be concentrated here. Right? So at the center goes about in a circle of radius r bol raha hai. Center moves in a circle of radius r with uniform speed. 2m v square by r is the net force acting on the system. Right? There is a ring placed on this disk. Ring का center of mass here. Center पर भी एक और particle है. Total mass is 2m. 2m v square by r is acting on the system. Both put together. He's just playing with words.
Excuse me, sir.
Huh?
So if the ring is, if it's a light disk and the ring is placed at the periphery and one is placed at the center, then the center of mass of this should be somewhere between the periphery and the center, right? Why is it take both of those masses are taken at the center only?
Where will the ring's center of mass lie? At its center?
Yes, sir.
Now this is going in a circular track. He is not saying center of mass. He didn't give you the value of the center of mass. If he gives you the value of center of mass, he should give you the speed of that. I don't have a problem. If you want to calculate the position of center of mass, then calculate the speed of this particle. Right? Speed will change. It will not be v. V equal to r omega.
Understood, sir.
Sixteenth and 18th. Okay, first I'll deal with 18th. 18th is easy. In
So,
an elastic collision, initial kinetic energy. Now, I'll tell you 18th, you will have a doubt for one reason. Elastic collision may M1, M2, U1, U2. Remember, in between, both will be moving with the same speed. Where I've got maximum deformation. Right? When there is maximum deformation, both are moving with the same speed. Then again, I will have V1 and V2, right? So kinetic energy here and kinetic energy here will be equal. Here I have got deformation of the body. Some part of the kinetic energy went into elastic potential energy. Elastic potential energy. So kinetic energy doesn't remain constant. It will be conserved, final and initial. Kinetic energy doesn't remain constant. It will be conserved between final and initial. Here, there is a deformation for the body. There are two masses with a spring. It gets deformed. So some of the kinetic energy goes into the elastic potential energy of the spring. Isn't it? So kinetic energy remains constant will be wrong. Initial kinetic energy is equal to the final kinetic energy will be right.
Sir, can you do 17 also?
Okay, okay. One second, just stay online. One second, stay online. There is a call coming. Listen, we will have to stop here. I'll continue with these both in the next class. Right? Finish off your homework. I'll continue with the doubts of HCV in the next class. Right? Next class will be very heavy. We'll deal with oblique collisions in the center of mass frame. And it will be very different and very important. Please be present in the next class.
Bye, sir.
Bye, bye, bye.